Hello, welcome to Slapdash Garage. Today is pretty exciting because I'm finally going to get to working on this guy, which I've been wanting to do for a while. We're going to be getting it ready for Autocross, so pretty exciting. Now some of the things, let's see here, that's my speaker. Some of the things that I did to get it ready for Autocross. First of all, this is a 1.6 liter Miata, and so a couple of things about that. The brakes are pretty notorious for being undersized. Not that we're packing a whole lot of power here, but I did get 1.8 NB speed Miata parts. Not this stuff here necessarily, but I got centric rotors from Summit Racing. And then something else, I got Marketplace Special rebuilt. I rebuilt these myself actually with just a kit from Flying Miata. Actually, I got a lot of stuff from Flying Miata, but anyway. So we're putting 1.8 calipers on my 1.6 Miata just to give it a little bit more bite. We don't need to be stopping, you know, we don't need to be locking them up, but the idea is just to be slowing down, right? So pretty excited. Finally, this stuff, as you can see, it's been here a while. It's pretty dusty, but gonna finally get my counter space back. Except I won't be able to fit them underneath of this wheel and tire combo. Those are 14s, just a little too small. So I got these from Fitment Industries, which pretty excited about. They get sent me a heck of a kit here. So I had it set up to where they mounted when they showed up, but they came in 2 different packages. I didn't need to sign for anything. That was just my case anyway, but they came with centering rings. They came with the cap covers, and kind of cool because you can make your own, or you know, whatever, 3D print your own. So that's the hardware there. And then not so security, but security lug nuts, and I guess what's really exciting about that is they're actually going to fit the cone on that. So anyway, something that I probably need to preface is I have no idea what I'm doing. Now I've twisted wrenches before, but I have no real formal experience, you know, working on cars. I've just done what I've done in my free time. So what you're going to be seeing is just somebody who works, you know, a regular like 9-to-5 job like most people do, and working on this in my free time. This is definitely not a professional channel in any way, shape, or form. You're going to see me make a lot of mistakes. And don't be afraid to point any mistakes out, because if it's something that I can learn from, I'd love to hear it. But that's what the whole goal, idea of this channel is. Don't be afraid to do something just because you don't know what you're doing. You know, try it out, fail. And you guys are going to see me fail a lot. And so I guess the idea is if you see me fail, you'll know what not to do, and then you can go fail on your own in a different way. And then you can tell me how you failed, and then I could learn how not to fail from you. Just, that's what we're doing around here. The important thing is I remember to record in landscape rather than portrait, so it makes a little bit more sense. But we'll get it figured out. I'm going to get these tires knocked off, and we'll get a good idea of what we're looking at. Again, it's just brakes, but a little bit more fun since they're beefier brakes. All right, as you guys probably saw from the time lapse, I got everything taken apart down here. Not quite everything. I still got to take the old rubber hose off. This is what the old caliper looks like. Once I get these two side by side, you'll see the difference in size, but it is pretty dang noticeable. But so the parts we got here, I got these calipers from a NB Speed Miata. Which are just a little bit bigger than mine. I'll show you a comparison later. But when I got these, they were had a lot of miles on them, but I took them all the way apart, and here's what we were, like for example, there's a piston. So it was pretty rotted out, and so I got a rebuild kit, a few of them actually, and just completely rebuilt it. So I'm gonna go ahead and consider that 0 miles. I still got to put together the rear calipers yet. The rear calipers are obviously pretty small, but the fronts are the big ones, and that's what we're going to use primarily. I got braided steel lines. We're going to be putting those on. And then also got some nicer brake pads, premium brake pads. Oh, and also got centric brake rotors, fronts and rears. I got that from Summit Racing. So I think what the plan's gonna be is go ahead and make a mess. I gotta spin that guy off. Let's see if we can get that to focus. So if you see that nut on top, I'm gonna have to thread that off, but with our luck, it's facing down, so all my brake fluid's gonna spill all over my not stained garage floor. I'll throw some kind of cardboard box or something and then lay on it and get my shirt all stained up. Anyway, and then if you were just replacing the line, you'd obviously just disconnect it from the caliper here. But since we're replacing the caliper and the line, I'm just gonna remove that top guy, see if I could plug that, or, I mean, we're gonna be replacing on the brake fluid anyway, because why not? But be putting maybe some stiffer fluid in there. For those that don't know, from what I understand about brake fluid, is the way it's classified, or the way you separate it, or you know the difference between what you're getting. I believe it's like DOT 3 or 4 or something like that, maybe 30. Oh, let's check. I have some. I have some that I'm not going to be using because it's, yeah, so DOT 3 brake fluid. And so I don't specifically, ooh, it's backwards. I don't specifically know what the 3 means. I just know that that's like a rating for how much it's going to compress. So we're going to throw not necessarily a performance brake fluid in there, but something that's a little bit more sporty that's going to give us what we want. The things that we want, if we're going to be doing autocross, we're going to be doing heavy braking. And so that means that there's going to be more temperature in the brakes. And so we want something with a higher boiling point, essentially, or I don't know what it'd be technically called, but just something that can withstand some more heat and something that doesn't compress as much in the line. Because when I hit the brake pedal, I want it to bite. I don't want it to compress and then bite, if that kind of makes sense. And I guess that's kind of what the point of a braided steel line is. Yeah, braided steel, I said it right that time, is instead of a rubber hose, so if you imagine a cross-section, this is a great example. If you imagine a cross-section of that hole in my hand, when you compress and there's a lot of pressure built up in the system, it's going to expand because it's rubber. And that's what I'm talking about on the factory system here, is when you really pry on it, some of that energy is going to be lost when you expand the hose. But the idea with these kinds of lines is it's supposed to hold up a lot better. That way you're transferring that energy right to the caliper, rather than losing it through expansion in the rubber hose. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's a 10 millimeter, and if it's not, I'm going to guarantee you that it's something else. It's a 10. So, oh! Hey, I'll tell you what, I either slipped or it broke loose. Hey, it broke loose. Oh, maybe I should wear gloves. Nah. But how do you... Oh, you just gotta not be so docile with it. Now that's just gonna leak and leak. I need some napkins. So that'll just slowly drain itself. So how do we get this guy out? Do I just brute strain? Does something twist? I don't know. Alright, now we can figure out how to get this rubber hose off of this. I can show you what I'm talking about. This is what I'm working with. I need to figure out how to get this guy off of this bracket. It kind of looks like I can just, you know, work it off. But I don't know. I don't really want to pry too much. But alright, so we need this guy, which is used for everything except flathead screws. Why do we do stuff like this? Well, no, that was actually pretty easy. I don't know why I made that more difficult than it had to be. Oh, well that's really easy. Alright, after some finagling, I got that guy off. I used the little rubber cover that came with the new calipers to block that line, so I'm not losing brake fluid. I'm going to replace the brake fluid anyway, but anyways. And then this guy was holding in the, I don't know, you had to take this out of the top, that way this guy could come free. Which now we have a completely disconnected caliper, which I'm sure if we did that, it would, no, I guess not. All right, anyway. So now is a good time to show the difference in these two cats. This is obviously the newer one. So if we set it up without scratching my wonderful paint job. Oh man, we're just gonna make a mess here. But that's okay, it's for entertainment purposes. You get the idea. That one's bigger than that one. And it's also newer. We are to the point where we might be able to see something. Sorry for smacking you around there. That's not the idea. Anyway, we got our stuff kind of, sort of, ish installed. Oh, they haven't been on a hanger since they were painted. I think we're gonna need that feller back in. More of that. It's upside down. No, is it upside down? I might have to watch the footage on that. Let's just do a nice little taparoo in. Oh, that there. I told you guys I wasn't a trained professional, but I mean, come on. Just thread that baby back on. Watch it be a different thread. That was called an anti-jinx. It's a technique I like to use. So we got a problem right off the bat. When I put that rotor on, I noticed that we're rubbing right here along the bottom of this guard. Because these, let's get a side-by-side comparison here. Because that one is so much bigger than that one is used to having, well rather, the car is used to having this little one on, not that guy. And so we're gonna run into a couple of issues here. And one of them is this dust shield is just not exactly what we need. But I can kind of, it looks like it's serving a purpose other than blocking dust. I'm pretty sure this guy is gonna swoop some air in and cool down our brakes when we're you know, stretching down the salt, setting land speed records and stuff like that. So I don't want to take this all the way off. What I'll instead do is I might just get my flat disc out, sand some of that lip away, and I think I'm going to do the same up here. And so we're still going to maintain, you know, some of the factory functions that they had with the ducting that is included, and we're still going to maintain our factory shield. So I'll get to that. All right, that worked out pretty well. I think I'm gonna hit that with a little bit of, I might hit it with the spray paint. I haven't really decided yet, but see if I can get you in there. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh. Okay. See where the problem area would have been? Let's get this light fired up. Yeah, right there. So now we just got clearance. It was hitting down here at the bottom, and the top was looking like it might have been a concern, but it really wasn't. But I just knocked that down just with a grinder, just trying to keep that, you know, distanced. So yeah, I'll get the rest put on. That rotor's on there just for a test fit, but good Lord, looks nice. For those that are paying close attention, you'll notice that I installed this caliper without any brake pads, and then tried to play it off cool by peeling the caliper back and installing the brake pads. Then I forgot the little pieces of hardware that keep the brake pads tight in the caliper. So, like I said in the beginning, you're going to see me fail. But that's alright, that's part of it. Oh, hi there. Didn't see you come in. I'll tell you what, I've been fighting these brake pads for a little while now. The clips that came with these brake pads, they're just a little big. And so it's really tough to get these seated just right. Not like that. We're out here doing it though. Get that nice. Yeah. Okay, moment of truth. Ooh. She fits. I mean, we don't know that yet. I'm gonna grab my wheel. I keep going back and forth about putting a racing number on this car. Alright, I keep going back and forth about putting a racing number on this car. If I were to put a number on it, it would be 40. You know, but do I want to go with an all-out race car look? You know, because it's still, I'm gonna still drive it to work, you know, when it's nice out and stuff. So do I want the all-out race car look, or I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but I think I might need a number for autocross. But I don't, maybe I can get like a magnet or something like that and just slap it up on the door, both doors maybe. But I don't know who would make something like that. I don't know. Gotta do some research. If you close your eyes, it's easier to see with your hands. If that makes sense. Like, check it out. I'm looking for my thread because I keep cross-threading it. But I close my eyes. Wait a minute. All right there. Okay. Heavens. That's why. That'll do it. Gotta go the right way. All my tools that I use, well, most of my tools that I use, like this ratchet, and quite honestly, most of the sockets that are chrome, I don't know, if it looks old, I actually got that from my grandpa when he passed away. Kind of a neat deal. I actually never really got to build any cars with him, but in a way I kind of get to now. Ooh. Well, here goes a nice moment. It's pretty critical to make sure you're at the right torque, especially when you're, you know, dealing with brakes. Like right there, that's a good torque. Oh boy, I really hope this fits. I have never used one of these. That doesn't even seem like it's the right size. I don't know. Force it? Yeah, something. Okay. Okay, well the lug nut is over there. Just time out. Time in. Now we're just doing mock-up here, making sure that these brand new wheels aren't going to be rubbing, you know, on the big components that I'm installing. Like I said, the research I did indicated that a 15 should be good. And when I say 15, I'm just talking about the diameter of this wheel, rim. A rim plus a tire is a wheel. At least that's what I think. I don't hear any rubbing. Holy cow. How's that look? Now I got center caps. Oh my God, that looks huge. Are you seeing this? Oh man. So that's what we're working with, ladies and germs. Boy, I like that silver caliper with the machine lip. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one. Wow. So, a little bit of a closer look. Yeah, that combo really fills out the inside of that wheel quite nicely. I think we're gonna be okay. Something I might have to roll in here, which I don't know. All the forums said I shouldn't have to. This is a 15x8 rim. Put on a, let's see here. Maybe I just passed it. Goodness. Oh yeah, right here. 205 50 R15 89W. Went with the brand of the tire. So they're Falken. The rubber's Falken. The series that it's part of is Azenis. Sure. It's more of the. It's not quite like, you know, it's not strict performance. It's still got that streetability. So I'm not too worried about the winter, you know, how these perform in the winter, because the car isn't meant really for that kind of thing. It's a Sunday cruiser / it's going to be Sunday cruiser / autocross, you know, stuff like that. Is it going to be fun? Can I take exits at higher than recommended speeds? Just that kind of thing. And I think we're going to have a real nice setup here. It's not overkill. Didn't kill the bank. But God, I can't get over it. A couple of other things that I want to do to it yet. And it's nice to finally see it in person. So you can kind of see there's the old compared to the new. Pretty happy. Well, I think that's going to about do it for today's progress. That was just the front driver's side wheel. Their corner, I suppose. It's just going to be the same process for the passenger side front. I imagine the rear is going to be a little bit different. I noticed on the rear line, it's got this thing. I think it's got something to do with the parking brake or emergency brake, but I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go along. I'm sure it'll make more sense once I tear into it, but that's one corner down. Verified that the wheel, well, number two, verified that the wheel fit, and that's a pretty big deal considering I spent you know, a chunk of change on the wheels. They're not the most expensive. They're middle of the road for sure, but like, you know, still my money. So that'll about do it for today. I'll get back at it tomorrow. Oh, how's it going? Well, it's a couple of days later. I think it's time to make some more progress. Here we go. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. Something that I did off camera was actually did the full rebuild on the rear brake calipers. So now we should be ready to go for the rears. I just got to throw the wheels off, but I mean the fronts are where we left them. I got my brake pads put on, got the calipers installed, got the little spring hardware. The other thing that I did do off camera is I did the passenger side also. It just was the same process as the other side, except it was just inverted. So I already got the car jacked up. You can see my jack's missing its post because I have my phone taped to the top post anyway. So I'm gonna get that wheel buzzed off, and I'm gonna take the old caliper off, take the old lines off, kind of everything you saw me do with the front. It's just I'm just gonna do it to the rear. It's gonna be a little bit different since we got a parking brake assembly to work out, and then I'll do this side probably off camera just because it'll be a lot of the same stuff. And then I'll have to figure out a way to get you set up here in the cabin while we're doing the test run. Should be a good time. It hadn't snowed in a while, so I don't think there's a whole lot of salt left on the road, but just something to keep an eye on. So yeah, I think I'll get you set up and we'll get to it. Okay, so we're kind of halfway with uninstall. I still got to get the caliper and the brake hose disconnected. I'm going to be replacing the rears with a stainless steel brake line just like I did the front. Also got to get that mechanism figured out on how to remove that. That shouldn't be too hard. I think it should be a couple bolts. But I noticed when I took this off that I got a little dent here. And I don't know where that might have came from. I'll keep my mind open for different things that might have happened. But you know what? I've heard of these things called garage gremlins that'll come in and they'll just mess something up and then they'll take off. I think they carry an orange mallet, but if anybody's got an idea, maybe location on them guys, just let me know. Get you adjusted here. Alright, so let's see what we're dealing with. Okay. Alright, so I know that this guy here is for adjusting the caliper, like the parking brake specifically. So if you take this guy off, underneath of here, there's gonna be a place where you can put in an Allen wrench and you can twist it and it'll, what's the word? It'll push that piston forward or bring it back depending on which way you're spinning that Allen. You know what? I think the only bolt, we need this bracket. So I think all we need to take out is that bolt, but going back, that would have been easier to do if I kept it mounted to here, because then I'd have some leverage. So let's see if I can get this to work. Probably not. Am I going the right way? Yeah, I'm going the right way. Probably should just do it right. Oh, no, we're good. Don't ever do anything right. Hope this isn't like spring. Nope, okay. Let's get some slack, twist it, and pull it, just like the Bop It. There we go. And we're disconnected. Are you gonna fall? Probably. All right. Now we need to come up here and figure out how that's gonna work. Let me feel up and around. Yeah, okay, so found my 10. We're not on nothing yet. Oh my gosh, this is a weird angle for me. All right, I think we broke something. Ooh, we broke it loose. Sure hope so anyway. I mean, can't see. Yeah, we broke it loose. Liquid gold. Nope, not really. Stinky, smelly stuff. All right, what are we working with here? Okay, it's just like the other one, except everything's over here on this side, if that makes any sense. So the square clips on this side, everything's on this side. It's just gonna be a little bit difficult because I'm not an acrobat, contrary to popular belief. Anyways. Jeez Louise. Patience. Wearing thin. I think that's the fuel tank. Has that got a drain plug on it? Nice. Oh, I scared you though, didn't I? Thought I had it. This is gonna do it. This is it. Let's put this somewhere where we're gonna find it. Yeah. Sure. All right. Now we're under here and we're already dirty, so. Look at that, folks. What do you know? All right. So we're leaking just a little bit. So let's grab this guy. See that? Don't let me forget that it's on there. Okay, so bear with me here. These guys don't look the same. And honestly, this may not work. But I have confidence because these guys need to have more. You see how the bolts are low here and then they're higher here? Even though this one's like 1.5 inches off the cooler. That's because this guy's going to be fitting a bigger rotor. And so I'm not going to lose faith yet. Okay, so we finished up the rear calipers, put the brake pads in them, put all the little pieces of hardware that it takes to keep everything in the same place. What we got going on next is we got to install our new rotors. These rotors are quite a bit bigger than our old ones. See the difference there? I'd say there's probably close to an inch, probably 2 inches bigger overall in diameter. You can kind of see the lip here and here. So we're probably gonna have kind of the same fight that we did for the front, where the dust shield is gonna get in the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind that back as much as I can. And honestly, I might end up taking it off. I haven't decided yet, because these guys just don't get used as much in the back. The brakes don't get used as much in the back, so I'm not necessarily worried about cooling as much as I was for the front. But to start off, I'm going to try by grinding them back. If we can get them to fit up after just doing that, then I'm going to call it good from there. All right, let's do it. So grinding it is gonna be just fine. See if I can get you guys in here. See, we got space there. Oh boy, this is tight. Got a gap all the way around. We're not completely square, but I don't want to go through any sanding discs. But I'm gonna need the air compressor down here. I don't want all this metal dust. But anyway, we're good. We're not making contact on anything, so that's gonna work for what we want. Next step's gonna be put the caliper back on, get the brake line fitted back up, get the parking brake set or put back, and then also I have to get the caliper adjusted. So do all that now. All right, so we got our caliper put on, got our brake line hooked up, and we got our emergency brake linkage system hooked up. Now we need to get that. Oh, it's heavy with one hand because I got to spin the other wheel too, but I'm in neutral. Anyway, we got to get this parking brake set. From what I've seen, to get this guy set, obviously when you have the handle up, this guy shouldn't be spinning. When you have it down, you should be able to spin pretty freely. Right, so in order to get this guy installed, I had to actually back that piston all the way out in the caliper. And just also, it's clean, fresh start. I know exactly where I'm at. But so if I lock this down, we should. Let's get in here. That went really easy compared to normal. But this guy should be locked down, and see, it's not. So we need to tighten that guy up. You know what? Something that just occurred to me. Maybe. Yeah, you can see that this guy got pulled back. I was thinking maybe I need to bleed the brakes first, but it might not be related. But maybe it couldn't hurt to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna need tightened up. You see how this guy's pushed forward now? That probably needs some adjustment, but just to be safe, I'm gonna wait till I put brake fluid and everything and we bleed the brakes. So I'm gonna get started on the other side now. Should be the same thing, just reversed, inverted rather. But I don't think that'd be very interesting to see twice, but I tell you what, it's not real exciting putting on like brakes, I guess, but it's real exciting putting on new parts finally, and it's gonna be real exciting to put the new rubber on. So overall, it's gonna be a good deal. So just some other stuff that I have planned for the car before the event. The event is at the end of March, the Autocross event, and that's obviously what I'm gearing towards. I need to get a couple of things figured out to be able to compete. One of them is I need to get a helmet, and so I was looking around, but the only helmet I've seen so far is $400, but I haven't been looking too hard, so that was like something that would cover up the front of your face. I don't think that's required for the class that we're running, but oh, the other thing, we have to take care of this, because if you look closely, my cold air intake is right next to my super hot exhaust. Now, I bought the car this way. It would probably be, I still have the factory air box, so that might be what I end up putting back on, because there's just no way that this is really helping us out. It's just sucking up hot air. It does have a vent on the bottom of the car that'll supposed to scoop cold air in, but I've seen some kits that are a little bit more official that kind of help us out with that kind of problem. That'll be for a later video. That's not really something I want to get ironed out for this autocross event. Be kind of fun to see the comparison, you know, butt feel. We're not going to feel a thing, is my guess, but anyway, it'll be fun to see the comparison, you know, hot air intake versus factory versus a true cold air intake. The other thing that's kind of a big job that I haven't decided yet if it's worth getting done before the autocross is this thing's going to be needing a clutch here pretty soon. But I tell you the truth, I've never done one of those, never dropped a transmission or anything like that, so that's why I'm kind of reluctant to try and cram that in, taking apart a lot of things. But you know, I guess that's the point of this channel, is if we do it all ourselves and I make a mistake, then I'm just gonna have to learn how to fix it, and we're just gonna have to keep on trucking. So clutch, brakes, wheels, tires, those are kind of the ones. Well, brakes, wheels, and tires, they're gonna be done here in a minute, but the clutch is still kind of iffy. I'm gonna have to do some research about what a good street but performance-minded clutch would be. Anyway, I'm gonna get to putting on the other side of the brakes, well, the rear brakes on the passenger side of the car, and then I'll bring you guys in for like a final review when I set it down on all four legs again, with its new rims. Everybody likes new rims. They really do something different for a car. But other than that, I think that's gonna be it for now. I'll see you guys in a minute when I get the tires on. Well, as you can see, I got the car buttoned up, and what that means, now we have bigger brakes for more stopping powers and corners that intricate courses are going to provide in autocross. We have more tire now, a wider tire, so we have a wider contact point where the rubber actually meets the road, which is going to give us more traction in those technical courses. It's pretty exciting stuff. Let me bring you in for a closer look. Get you in for a closer look here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I'm really happy I went with silver for the caliper color. Here's the rears. When I went for my test drive, I kind of threw some water on the car, get it kind of cleaned up. But if you look at this thing in the light, you can see it's still got all kinds of imperfections and micro scratches on it, and so it's not super clean in that sense, but I'm just really happy with the way this turned out. It's a good shot. Yeah. And so this wheel and tire setup, that's a 15 by 8 with a 25 millimeter offset rim.
And I think I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. Wrapped around, right here, 205/50 R15. So definitely should give us some more traction. Something I do want to note is that the brake pedal feel is similar, and that sounds like it would be a bad thing. And I guess if I'm being honest, I thought it was going to be a stiffer pedal, and what I mean by that is like more resistance when I'm pushing on it, but there's not a noticeable amount of resistance when you're pushing on it. And I thought since we put the braided steel lines on that it was going to be a little bit stiffer, and it probably is, but I haven't driven it in some time. But it's not, it's not super noticeable. And I thought also putting in that new brake fluid was gonna stiffen things up a little bit also, but that's just not the case. But that doesn't mean that the brakes don't bite, because they bite, and they bite a lot harder than the smaller brakes do. And it also takes less out of the pedal motion to get there, but I think we needed brakes in the first place, so that's probably the culprit there. But overall, we definitely made an improvement, but I did think we were gonna get more stiffness out of the pedal than what we currently have, but I think we're gonna be able to make it work. Well, that's gonna about do it for this video. We got a lot accomplished with getting our wheels put on and getting our brakes put on, and now we're one step closer to autocross. We just got to put a clutch in now, and we only have a handful of days till the autocross event, and I don't have that much time after work and stuff like that, but that's all right. We'll figure out a way to make it work. So but if that's the kind of content that you guys are interested in seeing, this is the place to see it. So subscribe if that's kind of what you're after. Also going to be recording everything I can record for that first autocross event, and what it's like for somebody with absolutely no experience in motorsports whatsoever. And I can't stress that enough. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the kind of thing that I want to show you guys, is that somebody like me can do that thing and be perfectly fine. And once you remove that fear of failure, it really opens up a lot of doors. And if I break something, I guess I'm just going to have to learn how to fix it, and that's that. And that shouldn't be any reason for anybody to be too scared to do something. I anticipate that this is going to be a ball, and I'm just trying to share and document that feeling for the rest of you guys. So if that's what you're after, stick around, subscribe to the channel, because that's what we're doing here. So, well, I guess that's that. So I really appreciate everybody watching. You guys have a great day.